Hey, good to see you again. The factory sent over the parts that were looking good on the rig. They're being fitted as we speak. Have a look at the report.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Aarava here, and welcome back to my F1 2017 career mode, episode number 106 today for the Monaco Grand Prix in Season 6. We start off this episode with a brand new part fitted to the car, which is the drag reduction update, a minor one to the aerodynamic side of our R&D tree on this Mercedes. I actually miscounted. I thought this was going to come in for the Canadian Grand Prix next episode, but no, it's come here at Monaco, which is debatable in terms of how useful that's going to be. Obviously, there's the small little pit straight, which will see some benefit, and obviously we run very high wings here at Monaco, so any drag reduction to the car will kind of aid that. Kind of the kind of compromise that we have is always off the run of the last corner. I can never sometimes get the speed to actually make a move into turn one. I think, thinking back on the last 5 seasons, I don't think I've really made even a single move into turn one. I'm trying to remember, maybe I'm mistaken. I don't remember myself making a move into turn one. Definitely the AI have tried it into turn one, but generally I don't ever get a good enough exit off that corner, and because I usually run very high wings, you know, you were talking about 11, 11-10 or 10-11 or 10-10 around there, depending on the car it is here at Monaco, to get the turn in. Obviously, it's all about the corners here at Monaco, and the driver makes the difference, so as much downforce you can get on the car means you can kind of chuck the car around as best you can around this circuit and try and find the lap time. So the drag reduction may be semi-useful, but I think that we'll really be thanking our stars that they'll be there for the Canadian Grand Prix next episode. But we move into practice, then you can see it's actually raining here in practice, so practice was largely quite useless for us. We just went and did the practice programs to obviously get those R&D points that we so desperately need to keep on developing the car, and obviously the Mercedes car, we've said it plenty of times, definitely does need the development there, but apart from that, pretty useless session in terms of actual real running. So we're kind of taking a stab into the dark really in terms of where this Mercedes car is going to be in terms of pace. But we move then into a brand new rivalry being given to us, which is Kimi Raikkonen. So that's the first time in a while we've got Kimi as a main rival from the actual game itself. Obviously, we've had him as a kind of quote-unquote rival on track plenty of times so far, but now we've got him as an actual on-track rival, and he's actually behind us in the championship, so we're already going to be beating him in that aspect, but obviously we need to try and do the job on track, and if we can do, maybe we can try and start getting some of the other teams to like us again. Obviously, at the end of the last episode, all the teams pretty much hated us and despised us, apart from like Sauber and McLaren, and that was because I got beaten by Daniel Ricciardo completely fair and square. 30 out of 30 he got on the rivalry, so maybe we can do some kind of damage limitation to that this episode and continue to maybe have a bit more positive impact on the rest of the paddock in that way. But we moved through qualifying then, not too much to talk about in Q1 then, so we kind of skipped over that, but obviously we got through, as you can clearly see, and now we're into Q2 as we swiftly go through the last corner, just about navigating that wall and not slamming our right front tyre onto it. We actually go fastest in Q2, which was a big surprise to me. You can see by the lap times, it doesn't seem like the AI really sped up in Q2 too much. Lewis also in P3, so I was quite surprised by that, but also I kind of took some solace into there. But as we move on to Q3, you can see a little bit wayward in turn 1, kind of lost the back end and started sliding towards the wall, just about caught it and didn't thankfully make any major contact with the wall on the exit of turn 1. And then as we go through swimming pool there, navigating that, another bump on the wall, but thankfully no damage across the line then, and it's only P8, and by the time we end the session, now you can see the AI have turned up the wick, and it's a 1-2 once again, surprise surprise, for Daniel Ricciardo. I think that is 6 out of 6 pole positions for Daniel Ricciardo, so well done to him. He's been doing insane in qualifying, although his teammate was the one who won the Spanish Grand Prix, so Ricciardo still has some work to do to convert those pole positions to actual race victories. But the two Red Bull cars are looking as strong as ever. Unfortunately, myself and Lewis a bit down the order. Lewis in 6th place, myself in 8th. Probably not actually, not too far off where I thought we would be at Monaco. Obviously, in real life, the Mercedes car wasn't great around Monaco due to its long wheelbase. The Ferrari and the Red Bull look so much better than the Mercedes car in real life, so not too surprised, but it just means we're going to have to try and do the job in the race. But of course, we'll try our best and be as aggressive as ever. And so let's go to the full grid and then see what we can do.
We're almost ready to go then, and this is what the starting grid looks like for today's race. It was a good showing from Red Bull in qualifying, and Daniel Ricciardo starts from pole position, and Max Verstappen lines up alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Hülkenberg, Vettel, Kimi Raikkonen, and Hamilton, Perez, and the Mercedes, Ocon, and Jolyon Palmer, Grosjean, Alonso, Felipe Massa, and Sainz, Kvyat, Van Dorn, Kevin Magnussen, and Lance Stroll, Ericsson, and Pascal Wehrlein completes the grid. Now it's almost time to lights out, so let's go down to the track.
Right, so here we are on the starting grid on the left-hand side of things. So we're going to have to hope for a really good start, and we can maybe try and nip into the inside to make a move on lap 1. Probably the best place we'll be able to make a move, but the usual one stop here at Monaco, ultra soft to the super soft tyres. It's all clear, going to be overcast the entire race, so strategy-wise, going to be pretty simple. So here we go then, to 5 red lights to the Monaco Grand Prix. Round number 6 of Season 6 is underway as the lights go out. A little bit of a delayed start there. It's a poor start from Raikkonen and Hamilton there. We're going to nip to the inside. It's a good one for us down the inside of Sergio Perez, and Hamilton's in the wall at turn 1. Hamilton calamities, 3 wide between myself, Perez and Hamilton stuck it in the barriers in the left hand side. Raikkonen comes home unscathed in 5th place. He got a really shocking start, almost got overtaken by Perez then, but Perez tucked in behind him essentially. He started defending from Hamilton and also myself, and then we went down the inside there. So really unfortunate for our teammate there, but you know, I'd like to feel a bit sympathetic, but he should have really backed out of it, being on the outside of turn 1 at Monaco, really trying to go 3 wide. And so now we are up into P6, and we're going to try our best to maybe hang on to the back end of Kimi Raikkonen, but at the moment it's still a 1-2 then for the 2 Red Bull guys, Daniel Ricciardo, Max Verstappen. Then you've got Nico Hülkenberg, and then is Sebastian Vettel leading away. It is 1-2 for the 2 Ferrari cars here. So let's try and see what we can do in the next few laps. And we're moving swiftly on to the very next lap, only lap 2. We're already maybe getting on the back of Kimi Raikkonen. He's gone really defensive to the inside. That's going to compromise his speed. Mid-apex, mid-corner, we nip it to the inside, bang tyres, and that's oh so close in a place where you're usually flat out in qualifying. We made it side by side through there. That is pretty damn impressive. There was not much crashing going on there, a little bit of contact, but all in all, we're still going. We're still side by side through this entire section there, the entirety of Sector 3. Somehow both of us have come out unscathed there, and we're still going in this Grand Prix. Absolutely fantastic stuff there with Kimi Raikkonen. Now Sergio Perez fancies himself around the outside, and Checo's done it. What a move there by Perez, around the outside of turn 1, forced his way through. That is a wonderful pass. That's insane to make it through. You saw Hamilton, how easy it is just to smash into the barrier there. So really quite good stuff. I thought my overtake into Raskas, obviously that infamous overtake I like to make on the AI guys, into Raskas was good, but now Perez has probably taken the overtake of the race already there around the outside of turn 1. So now we move on to lap 5, and now it's a case of myself and Perez really trying to see if we can maybe catch Vettel, although you can see in the minimap we've really gotten away from Perez. He's struggling now, actually, surprisingly, and he's now actually having to defend from Raikkonen, it looks like, on the minimap there. But we are setting purple times, and we're trying to chase down Sebastian Vettel, who's really falling away somewhat, a little bit, from Nico Hülkenberg, but not as much as Hülkenberg's falling away from the 2 Red Bull cars. You can see clearly the 2 Red Bulls in a bit of a class of their own, because the gap from Verstappen, I think that is in P2 to Hülkenberg, is a lot bigger than it is to Vettel or myself. You can see we're closing up ever so much in the hairpin, but it's frustrating times really, that classic Monaco vibe that you get so close in the hairpin, you know, you can almost touch these cars, and yet then on the traction zones following that down into the tunnel, you just can't get there. And again into the last second last corner, Raskas, and then the last corner again, getting right up to him, locking up on the right front tire, opening DRS. We can see that little squirm on the exit just means that Vettel's able to get the legs on us down this main straight. And like I mentioned, because we're running such high wings, even with the drag reduction update, just don't have enough oomph to really make the move into turn 1, and getting a little bit close and familiar with the barriers. Vettel doing so as well, as he goes a little bit wide actually and compromises the run as we go into Casino Square, but ourselves also get hit with a bit of wash of dirt here, so have to bang on the barrier a little bit on the left hand side as we enter towards Mirabeau, and then the hairpin. And again, as I said just before, locking up on the left tyre, but getting so close, really up the gearbox of Vettel. But still, as we move on to lap 13 then, unable to still make anything work, and it's still Hülkenberg, Vettel, myself, and Perez is even starting to close up on us. So it really is that classic Monaco kind of train, as it were, although Hülkenberg's not holding us up. It's just kind of, all of us have kind of got the same exact pace as one another, so we're all kind of equalising and kind of cancelling each other out. Meanwhile though, on the minimap, the 2 Red Bull cars really just waltzing away, really. They're getting so much pace in this Grand Prix, and Ricciardo looks very comfortable at the moment in the lead of this Grand Prix. Meanwhile, there you can see our rear tyres are starting to wear out, so much so that I've asked my engineers to pit in this lap, as that's compromising my exit. And it looks like Hülkenberg and Vettel, unfortunately, thought the exact same thing. So I thought I was being a bit clever and cheeky about getting an undercut, but no, Vettel and Hülkenberg come in on the exact same lap. So we strap on this set of super soft tyres. That's our one and only stop of the afternoon. Unfortunately, Ferrari do a good pit stop, so we can't jump them. Although, look on the right-hand side, Hülkenberg and Renault do not have a good pit stop, and Hülkenberg goes down 3 places. He's overtaken by Vettel, myself, and Perez. That is a shocking pit stop for the Renault guys, and it's something that we're familiar with, remember, in Season 2 and Season 3. So we come out now in P9, unfortunately though, behind Daniel Kvyat, so we're going to have to overtake a car that's not in the same race as us. He's on Ultrasoft, still going longer in this Grand Prix. He's going to try and make a very quick move to try and not get compromised by the Toro Rosso, so we can keep on the back of Sebastian Vettel down the inside of Mirabeau. Very close stuff, squeeze him out on the exit. It's a very, very audacious pass, but we've made it work, and we're back up into P8 now and back behind Sebastian Vettel, who's now getting held up by a Williams car, looks like. So let's try and see if we can maybe close up to him in the next lap or two. If he's obviously, that's not blue flags, you know, that Williams car has every right to defend of either Stroll or Massa, so let's hope he can hold him up enough where we can try and make a pass. We move on to the end of lap 15 then. We've got DRS available as we go through the last corner. Vettel definitely compromised, but he's got DRS as well as us, and so you can see the pace difference in a straight line. He's able to get away from us somewhat, just a tad, and enough for me not to make a move into turn 1, so we're going to have to be a bit patient and stay in P5 for now before we can make any kind of pass work out. But at the moment, the Williams car is not only holding Vettel up, but also myself from, you know, picking up the pace and trying to maybe catch the Red Bulls. It's a big maybe, but it's still a maybe there, and you never know if anything happens with the two Red Bull cars. We could be there for the taking. They make mistakes, but you can see as we go into the hairpin how slow Massa is going on these worn Ultrasoft tyres. Surprised him and Kvyat are on Ultrasoft tyres still on lap 16 here as we go towards halfway through the Grand Prix. And now I'm going to get a little bit frustrated and dive down the inside of Vettel and try and force a move to happen. A little bit of contact was made on his side pod there, but we go side by side. Vettel just about gets ahead, and we have to tuck in behind midway through the tunnel section. He goes defensive to the outside. We brake very late on the outside. He's made some contact with the wall, and he's hit the side of our car. We've had to go across and cut the corner. We've let him back through illegally as we got an illegal overtake, so we let him back through. So it's all fair and game in terms of the places there. I thought there was a Force India though that actually had a bit of a collision into the wall as well of Perez there. But Vettel, I don't know what happened. I went cleanly around his outside. I was going to give him the room, and I might have probably had to cut the corner to give him the room. But now the safety car's being called out. Vettel comes in. Perez is out of this Grand Prix, and that's probably why the safety car was called out. And I thought I saw a Force India that had crashed behind us off Sergio Perez. So that's why we've got yellow flags and the safety car, and Vettel's come in under the safety car, so they're taking advantage of that. But let's look at a replay now of what on earth happened here, because I was saying, you know, what kind of crash is that? Vettel didn't even make any contact with me into that corner, and that was all on his own accord. You can see there, as we look further ahead from Perez's view, that Vettel just turned in early, and then Perez turned in way too early, and he's got no front wing then. The oddest crash for Vettel and Perez. Vettel turns in too early to the left-hander. Perez does the same on the next left-hander, and now, hang on, he's got no suspension. How on earth is that left front tyre still on his car? Hello? He's got no suspension, and his left front tyre was still on the car. That is magic by the Force India lot there, but that's why he retired. So absolutely sorcery going on with the Force India guys to have that tyre still upright somehow with no suspension on there. And so now we go on to the safety car restart. It's been a pretty poor restart for us into turn 1. And so we're into P3. Hulkenberg's gained P4, obviously, as Vettel made a pit stop on the safety car. Obviously, probably for that damage that the Ferrari incurred. Otherwise, Vettel would have stayed out rather, and he would have been in P3 still. But with that damage he incurred, he had to come in. So gifted P3 then, a gifted podium for us. Verstappen in P2, Ricciardo P1. So Ricciardo at the moment looking comfortable to keeping this win at the moment. Obviously, as I mentioned, he's got all the pole positions, but no conversions to a win just yet. But we're trying our best on lap 21 to try and see if we can maybe overtake Verstappen, setting the fast lap of the Grand Prix. So he's got some decent pace at the moment, getting away from Hulkenberg, and it's looking actually quite promising, you know, to say, compared to stint 1, where the two Red Bull cars were gallivanting away from myself and Vettel and Perez. At the moment, I'm keeping up with the two Red Bull cars. However, as we move on through the Grand Prix, then it was quite clear my tyres were starting to go off compared to the Red Bull guys a little bit more, and I just couldn't keep pace in the last corner. Especially, you can see that drive off that final corner, just not good enough. And even with DRS and chucking it very aggressively over the curbing, I'll admit, into turn 1, just unable to keep up with him. And actually, as we look behind us, Hulkenberg is starting to catch us, and so we move on to lap 28, getting very close to smashing it almost into the barrier there on the left-hand side in Raskas. So, you know, even the braking into Raskas getting a little bit poor from me as the tyres start to go off a little bit. Hulkenberg weaving around, and we're going to just about park it basically in the middle of the circuit, basically be a bus to park it in P3 and try and stay ahead of the Renault. He's the one pressurising us. I think it's Palmer up behind him then in P4. So the two Renault guys, or P5 I should say, so the two Renault guys doing a really great job in P4 and P5 and trying to do the best job they can. But now they've met a moving chicane, which is myself in the Mercedes car, and I'm just going to keep it to the end for P3. Daniel Ricciardo does indeed win the Monaco Grand Prix. It's Max Verstappen in second place, but you can see just the gap there to Verstappen. Even though I actually found a bit more pace maybe in the last couple of laps and started pushing a bit more and kind of refound my form around here in this second stint, just the pace of the Red Bull cars, way too much for us for today. But we can be really, really happy with P3 here around the Monaco Grand Prix. As I mentioned earlier, in real life, the Mercedes car is not meant to be good around here with a long wheelbase of the 2017 Merc. And you saw in qualifying, the pace wasn't there. And so to get this done in P3 and get on podium at least is really, really good. And you've got to say Red Bull are looking pretty much supreme at the moment in this season. They are dominating the Constructors' Championship. The drivers, a little bit of a different story because, of course, Vettel did a fantastic job to get 2 wins early. But the Constructors-wise, they're doing a fantastic job. And so we can't be too disheartened, by the fact that we are taking the fight, at least to Ferrari. And we're comfortably still ahead of the Renault and Force India guys in the Constructors. But as Ricciardo sprays the champagne, it's maybe going to be starting to be a bit of a resurgence for Ricciardo. Obviously, 6 pole positions, 1 win so far, as Verstappen's taken 2, I think it is, and Vettel 2. So Ricciardo is due a win, I think you could say. I think you could say after 6 poles. So there you go. And Verstappen though does still stay ahead in the Drivers' Championship. Ricciardo though moves ahead of Vettel into second place now. So 1-2 in the drivers for Red Bull, and that will kind of show over the Constructors then by their dominance. But you can see we are ahead now of Ferrari. So we're actually, to be fair to us, doing a really good job to be in second place in the Constructors with this very struggling Mercedes car. Because, I've said it before so many times and you guys are probably getting sick of it already, but the Mercedes car does not handle very well. Even here in Monaco getting 3rd place, although I seem pretty confident around some of those corners, it was very slidey, especially into places like Casino where the back end just started to step out a little bit. You had to kind of do a control power slide almost to try and keep the nose in there and keep the car floating around the circuit. So a little bit of a nervy race, and we just about held it through. But I'm looking forward to the next episode because the Canadian Grand Prix, obviously Mercedes engine, drag reduction update. I'm very much looking forward to seeing how our car could perform. But now moving to the end of the episode, looking at upgrades to do on our car, I want to go for weight redistribution because that's, been the biggest thing about our car. It's just very kind of slidey, and I feel like the weight redistribution at the moment is not very good. I feel like the car's a bit too heavy on the rear end almost, or the front end. I can't tell which one it would be really, but it's basically too heavy on one end, and the car keeps kind of rocking around basically in the corner. So I thought a major upgrade to that would be really good for us. So we're going to go for the major weight redistribution on the left hand side there. In hindsight, I will say, before you guys pointed out, I should have gone for the one on the right because that could have unlocked us then some weight chassis reduction, but I didn't think of that when I did it. So there you go. I've kind of made a little bit of a mistake there, but still, to give me an upgrade that comes in 4 weeks time, unfortunately though, so you're going to have to wait quite a bit for that to come into play. But guys, nonetheless, if you have enjoyed the episode, smash that like button for us getting a podium here at the Monaco Grand Prix in what is a very struggling Mercedes car. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. If you're new around here, then do get subscribed for weekly Formula 1 content. I've been Aarava. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.